Hello guys, my name is Rumbie'S and I'm from Zimbabwe.
Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Nafula. If you've not subscribed to my channel, I highly recommend that you subscribe. But if you've already subscribed to my channel, I just want to say thank you for subscribing and thank you for watching my videos. So DV lottery winner from Zimbabwe, right?
Yes.
So when did you win the green card lottery? What year?
2023, DV 2023.
Oh, you applied in 2021
yes,
and then you won in 2022.
Yes.
And then you're right here in 2023.
Correct, yes.
Okay. So let's start. How many times did you apply before you won?
I applied about 2 times before I won. The third time, that's the one which I won.
So you won the third time?
Yes.
So the first time you did not win, the second
time? The second time I did not win. The third year I did not apply because that was the COVID year. Then the next year I applied, then fortunately, yep, that's when I won.
Okay, yeah, congratulations. Now you're here.
Yep, now I'm in America.
Now soon you'll be an American citizen. You'll be like, hey guys, yeah, what's up?
I'm Americanized.
Okay, so let's talk about the whole process. So
yes.
From the application, who took that picture for you? The one you used when you won, not when you did not win. Or maybe you can talk about even when you did not win.
Oh,
so
yeah.
The times you did not win, who took that picture?
All the time, basically all the time I've always had my pictures taken from the photo studios.
So you did the same photo studio for all the 3 times?
Yes, same photo studio for all the times, yeah.
Okay. So you applied from, the photo was in the photo studio, and then what about the application? Did you use your phone? Did you go to a cyber? What did you use to apply?
Oh yes, I just used my phone. I used to apply by myself on my phone, yeah. It takes like 3 minutes just to apply.
It's free.
People
pay people a lot of money. Guys, if you want to pay me a lot of money to apply for you, I'll go ahead and do that, but you don't have to.
For you, yeah.
Okay, so you applied on the phone. So when was that? Do you remember what day? I know sometimes it's hard to remember. Usually it's between October and November. So when was that? Do you remember?
I think it must have been October 12th, if I'm not mistaken, but it was in October. I usually apply a few days after they open. I don't like using the first 1-2 days because
everybody's applying.
Up. So yeah, so I don't want to make a mistake, upload, then think it's loading, then think did it go through, did it not go through?
Yeah.
So usually I apply after about 2-3 days when it's open, yeah. So I think it was around October 12th, yeah.
So you applied October 12th, and you applied using a phone. You did it
phone.
all yourself. Photo, you took in a studio, and then you applied using your phone. So when did you find out you won the Greencard Lottery?
I found out that I won the Greencard Lottery in May 2022 when the results came. I think it was a few days after the results came. I'd even forgotten about it, that the results were released already. Then a few days later, then my friend reminded me of the results. That's when I was like, oh yeah, let me go and check. So when I checked that, I saw you've been randomly selected.
Whoa!
Girl,
so how was the feeling at that time? Twice you did not win.
Yeah.
And then this time you get the letter. So what was your feeling at that time?
I was so excited. I was really happy. I was so shocked.
Wow.
I was somewhat still not believing it. I spent I think almost 5 good minutes just looking at the results and just looking at it yeah.
You're like, is it real? Is it real?
Yeah, I was so excited. Yeah.
So after you won, you find out you won, what next steps did you take? What did you do?
So the next step that you will take after you win is to to fill up the DS260. So because they will give you a link when the results come, they'll give you a confirmation with the confirmation number. After you check, you get the a case number. After the case number, that's when you use that case number to apply for a DS260. So that's when I filled it. But I filled mine, I think it was around July, a month later. Yeah.
Oh, a month later. So July, you filled your DS260. Yes. And then so in the DS260, how did you get a host at that time?
A host. A friend of mine actually referred me to someone. So from the internet. So from there I had to pay the money, then they'll just charge for the address. So that's how I got.
So that's the address, not the hosting. They just charge you first for the address.
For the address, yes. So I had to pay online, then for the address, yes.
All right.
That's the reason why I actually delayed to fill in the DS260 because of the address.
Yeah, because you need a lot of people don't realize that they'll need the address. For the DS260, they just win and just sit around, not knowing you need an address to complete your DS260. Yes. So now you fill out the DS260. That was in July of 23. So when were you scheduled? Now, when did you get your 2NL?
The 2NL came in 2023 and June also. It came in June also.
Wow.
Yeah. It came like the following year in June. That's when I was now scheduled for an interview. They sent a link from the US government. They sent a link in my email, which that's the other thing. You're supposed to be like extra careful and checking your emails, because I was just randomly going through my emails and then it comes saying no reply. So I was thinking that maybe it's like a spam email or something. I was just about to delete it. Then I was like, oh, let me just open. So when I opened, that's when I saw that there's a link that you have to go and open and see the train now. So yep,
because that's how people get scammed, because they say, oh, you know, like we'll call you, or maybe you get an email that's not from the Department of State, just a random email from somebody. They're like, oh, you won, you need to pay money before you continue with the process. So that's how scammers get to you. But then you have to be careful about the email you put in your DS260, because everything will be sent to that email.
Directly to that email, yes.
Okay, so now you get a 2NL, and then when were you scheduled for the interview? What month?
So the 2NL one, it came from in June. It scheduled me for the interview in August, on August 10th to be precise. But then yes, so they said it was around the 7:30 interview in the morning. But then a few weeks later, when you're close to the interview, specifically from the embassy in Zimbabwe, usually it will send you like another email with the same date, but it had like a different time stamp. So that's one thing that you also have to. So
they send you two. What did you say? So one, you get like an interview date, and then the other one you get a time.
Yes, it was the same interview date, but it had like a different time slot.
Oh.
So it's the same date but different time slot. The one that comes from this side, and then the one that comes from the US embassy direct.
Yeah, that's interesting, because like, you know, if you just check the first email and then they send you the second email and you don't pay attention.
Exactly, then you're...
So that's for Zimbabwe, because a lot of other countries, they don't do that.
Yes, that's for Zimbabwe specifically.
Okay, so now we've talked about the DS260. So did you fill it yourself or somebody helped you?
Yes, I filled the DS260 all by myself. It's also good to fill, because the instructions are just right by the side of the form.
So the form, there's the instructions right on the side. So like if you want to do it, you can do it yourself. You don't need to pay somebody $300 to fill your DS260. You can actually do it yourself.
You can just fill it by yourself. Yes.
People say ignorance is expensive. So if you don't research, you don't study, you don't read stuff, you're gonna be paying people to do something that you can actually do it yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your 2NL. What was included in your 2NL and how did it come?
From the US government, they will send you through the email, they'll send you the link. So after that, you just have to check for updates. Then from the updates, that's when you see that you have now been scheduled for the interview on this date.
So every single time you go to this link that they sent you to check if it's updated?
Not really. I'll just waited for the email to come. So when the email came, it would now inform you that you have updated. So that's when I would go to the link that they sent you.
Get the website and then you open up your...
Yeah, from the link, that's when you see the date of the interview and the interview embassy that you're going to be using. Yeah.
So you see the interview date, and then the name of the embassy.
That you're going
what else was in there? Do you remember? Like information about your medical, was it in there as well?
Not really. That one would come from the second email that will come directly from the US embassy in Harare. The one that had the same date and the different time. That's when they'll send you information about the medicals and the police clearance, because you also have to do like a police clearance. So for the police clearance part, you have to do one from Zimbabwe. If you're born and raised in Zimbabwe, you have to do like a Zimbabwean police clearance. Then if you've lived in any other country outside of Zimbabwe for more than 6 months, you also have to get a police clearance from that
all those countries, even if it's 5. A lot of people are asking like, okay, I lived somewhere like 20 years ago. Yes, if you live there more than 6 months, you will need police clearance from there. You will need
a police clearance from there. And then, in the medical information, they'll also tell you like the medical panels that they use. They only have like 2 officialized medical panels. There's one in the city center, like in town. I think it's Jason Chinamano and something, but that's Dr. Poston. They'll give you like all the details. Then the second one is in Mount Pleasant. That's Dr. Rosaline. She's the one that I used. So the 2 of them.
So they give you the information. This is the medical. Then this is where to go. Do they tell you the exact date you need or when you need to get those?
Yeah, they will not tell you exactly, but they will just tell you that you need to get like the police clearance before the interview. That's one thing you're supposed to get before the interview. Then the medicals in Zimbabwe specifically, you cannot do the medicals before the interview. You have to wait for the interview first. If you're scheduled for the interview, you wait for the interview, go for the interview. Then after the interview, that's when you can go for the medical, if they give you like a go ahead.
So you have to go, yes. If you pass the interview, that's when you do the medical, which is really good because you save money.
True.
So if you don't get a visa, there's no point of doing the medical.
No point of doing the medical, exactly, because it's very expensive to do the medical.
And how much was the medical in Zimbabwe?
In Zimbabwe, it's around 700 and something. But the price will slightly differ up and down depending on the vaccinations that you have.
Yeah, so if you have like prior vaccinations with your kid, records of that, then it reduces the cost a little bit.
It will be way much more, yes, easier. If you have like that yellow card that all Zimbabweans have, there is like a yellow card that they give you like at birth with vaccinations. That will also drastically reduce the price as well. I think it will slash out like $200-300.
Wow.
But you have to have kept it because that's like a card you get from birth.
Like you have to,
yeah.
So there's no way to get records from the ministry or whatever?
That will take you like forever. I don't know if they've got like...
So you'd rather just pay for it?
Yes, you'd just rather pay for it and get another one.
But 700 is a lot of money. A lot of countries like 200, 300, 400. $700 is a lot of money.
US dollars, yeah.
US dollars.
That's a lot of money.
So regardless of which medical, you said they sent you to, so regardless of where you went, it would be still $700.
$700 was actually from the cheaper one. So the other one would cost you way much more if you had to go there. Like the one that I used in Mount Pleasant, that was the one which was cheaper one. So if you go to the other one, it would be slightly more than that. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh wow.
It's expensive.
When you showed up at the medical, what did you need to take at the medical with you?
When you go for your medicals, you just need to bring your letter from the embassy, because after you finish your interview at the embassy, they'll give you like a letter for go ahead to do the medicals. Then you just have to go with that letter. You have to go with a form of identification like your ID. Then you also have to take your passport with you. Then you also have to have been vaccinated for COVID.
Also, you need vaccination for COVID before you go. They can't give you COVID vaccine there?
No, they can't. But you can get a COVID vaccine. Let's say if you haven't been vaccinated before, you can be vaccinated, but you have to wait 2 weeks before you start the medicals. So it's better when you already have like...
So you'd rather just get it before you just show up, and it's easier for you?
To just forward the process.
So you get like a letter. So your case is different, like the other embassies, they don't need the letter from the embassy. But then you have to have a letter that you'll be granted a visa first. Like if you're denied, then you're not supposed to.
You're not even supposed to, yes.
Okay.
Even if you try to play fast about it and go to the medicals before the interview or without, they'll still not do the medicals. Yeah.
Wow.
Because they need that letter.
Because it's expensive. It's completely understandable.
Yes.
So you went there, you presented all your information there, and then now you are at the doctor's office.
Yes.
So what kind of, what is the process? Can you just explain a little bit, just like what's the process since you arrived, what the medical involved, and what was the kind of questions that they asked you?
From the medicals, they'll just ask you like generally about your health and stuff like that. If you've got any medication that you've been taking anyhow, then they'll also do like a physical exam, like a whole physical exam. Then that's where they'll give you like vaccinations if you had some that are missing. And yeah, that's just more about. And they'll also conduct tests, like a lot of tests. I think they did.
For the TB, did you get the one they put on your skin, or did they do an X-ray?
They did an X-ray. They do the X-ray one. Yes.
Okay, so you did the X-ray one.
They send you to like a referral place. Then you do like the X-ray one.
Okay, so that was pretty much. How long did the medical take, like the procedure from start to finish?
Procedure, mine was a bit delayed because there was like a holiday in between, but otherwise, if not for the holiday, to take like 3-4 days for the medical to be finished. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like very, very long. Yeah.
So when they finish the medical, I know like in some embassies they give you, I mean in some countries, they'll give you the envelope and then you take it to the embassy. But then you already had the interview. So how did the embassy get your medical?
All right, so for the DV lottery specifically, if you finish the medicals, you still have to go back to the doctors. They'll give you like a date where you can come back and collect your result. Then they'll give you the medical still in envelope, then you have to take it back to the embassy. Then when you take it back to the embassy, you leave it there. That's when you leave your passport again. Because even when you finish the interview, they'll give you your passport because you need it for the medical.
So okay. So like you don't, it's not like the other embassies, you go to the interview and then you leave your passport there. So they give it back because you need it for your medical.
Exactly, yes.
Oh, okay. So they gave you just one copy or they gave you 2 copies?
They'll just give you like 1 copy, yes.
Okay. And then when you drop it at the embassy, did they give you a copy that you had to travel with or?
Not really, no.
No.
I think that's the same copy that they will put like in the packet for.
Yeah, in the packet, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so they will, after they double check, they put another, they give you another envelope after they put all that information in there. And then they seal it. And then what are you supposed to do with the envelope?
Number 1, not open it.
Do not open it. Like even if your ancestors are speaking to you, that try to open a little bit to see what's in there.
Number 1, not open it.
Do not open that envelope. That's the only thing that will deny you entry in the United States. If they see like even you tempered with a little bit like on the side,
with the seal or something, yeah.
That's it.
You're out. Yeah.
You're out.
Open it, and number 2, of course, carry it with you. And carry it with you in your hand luggage, not in the main suitcases that you put in. Just in the
make sure it's safe. You secure that. Keep it safe the way you keep your passport, because literally it's your passport to get in.
Passport to come in,
Okay, so now you did your medical. So with your 2NL, let's talk about that. So you got your 2NL medical, you got it in a separate email, but then with your 2NL interview date, the place for the interview, what else was in your 2NL?
Nothing much. I think that's just about it. Yeah.
So where did the affidavit of support, like whatever you need with the affidavit, was it in the 2NL or?
Yes, thank you for reminding me. From the email that they sent, didn't come specifically from the 2NL from the government, because they send an email from the government side with the link. But the 2NL, there is like a separate email that will be sent from the embassy in Zimbabwe. I don't know if it goes for the other interview. That's where they'll tell you, with the same email that they'll tell you need to get a police clearance and then don't do your medicals until after the interview, and the same email that they'll tell you like an interview. They'll also give you like PDF form attached with all the necessary things that you need. So they'll tell you for minimum requirement for you to even go for the interview, you need to have at least a minimum of 5 O levels. That's for Zimbabwe.
So that's education level.
Education level. Yes.
So 5 O levels is like high school.
That's like high school Form 4 in Zimbabwe.
Oh, okay.
Yes, in Zimbabwe for Form 4. But for me, I just went with both my O level and A level, like Form 4 and Form 6.
Okay. So they don't need Form 6 over there.
They really don't need it. On the form, they say they only need Form 4, like 5 O levels.
5 O level. Do they have a minimum grade for those for your education?
It was written C, yeah, minimum grade.
So you need to have a C in the 5 O levels, right?
5 O levels, yeah.
So what if you scored maybe a D, but then you went to university and then you got a degree? Does that make a difference? Do you know?
I wouldn't be like too sure, but from
Probably
my
not.
own, not that I'm encouraging or advising someone, but from my own perspective, if it was like that, I think I would rather still encourage someone to take their chances and still go. It's better for them to deny you than for you to just assume.
You'll spend all that money, but
Especially
still.
after you've
But then the
gone
good thing
to
about
university,
Zimbabwe, you don't do medicals before the, so you'll just lose like 330, right?
Visa interview, exactly.
Yeah. So not bad. So how did you go about that?
That's the same lesson, the same PDF that will tell you about minimum requirements of the 5 O levels, and that you need the affidavit of support. That one will actually be like written in red, like all the instructions.
Of all the instruction, affidavit of support is in red.
Affidavit of support is in red, like in capital, it's written in red. Everything else black and white, but that one is even written in red. So it's written that you need to have like an affidavit of support for you to go through.
And that's mandatory.
That's mandatory in Zimbabwe, yes.
Okay. So with affidavit of support, how did you go about that?
For me, I didn't know anyone that could provide for me like an affidavit of support, so I was referred to a friend. Then the friend referred me to someone. Then someone, it was like a chain.
Like
of
3
connection.
people.
Yeah, like a whole chain.
3
of
referrals
connection.
before you got somebody who actually
Before I
did
got
it.
Someone that actually did it for me. Someone that I actually didn't even know, that I've never like physically met, but they were like from Zimbabwe also, but they were just kind-hearted enough to just say, someone is coming from Zimbabwe, let us help this person.
Which is good. African people, that's what they need to do. Like if you know somebody's from your country, they need affidavit of support, just help them, because you know, at least it's 2 Zimbabweans in America, at least, you know. That will be one more person you're adding here who's gonna go back home and do something. So like now what you're trying to say is like, this person who completed your affidavit of support, you never met, you never spoke to them, you don't know who they are.
No.
Prior to that.
Like met them physically prior to that.
Yeah, because people have like this, you know, crazy idea that you have to know the person giving you affidavit of support. You really don't. Get a random stranger in America, you're like, can you help me out? Fill this form out.
Exactly.
The embassy don't care. As long as they send you all the, you know, the documentation they need for you to take to the embassy, then you should be all set.
Yes, you're all good.
Okay, so now you have, you talked about the education level, which is 5 all levels. You know, we don't have all levels in Kenya.
Oh, yeah, that's
so you have that, a minimum grade of C.
Yes.
And then so medical, you talked about that. You said you have to do that after your interview. And then you talked about affidavit of support you were given by a total stranger.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's talk about your interview date. How did you prepare for that? Where was it? And what kind of questions did they ask you?